Hi YouTube, welcome back to my channel Flashback TNT. In this video I'm going to share with you my full vintage Star Wars figure set. So I'll start by giving you a brief history of my dealings with Star Wars. I was too young when it was out originally for the first three original films, but my dad had them on VHS, and when I was old enough, around 5 years old in 1991, I would watch them, and I really enjoyed them. I would also enjoy watching Ewoks Battle for Endor, which is a spin-off. So around the early 90s, my dad started collecting the toys himself, and we would go to like car boot sales every Sunday, and we literally have free reign on what was on offer. We'd get boxes and boxes of figures, any type of toys, you name it. There was so much Star Wars related toys and memorabilia. My dad would even put adverts in the local newspapers, and we'll go around to people's houses or even travel around the country to pick up toys. And like price wise, it was crazy money to think of. It was like pence for figures and a few quid for mint box toys. So my dad, through this means, built up a really nice collection. I can always remember he kept it in the outhouse on the side of our house. He would have it all displayed, and as soon as you open the door, it was like walking into a massive toy shop that just sold Star Wars toys and figures. He actually had a really nice collection of figures back then, because he could pick and choose what was mint and what was not, swap them out, and he also had quite a few variants. What we've found recently, and obviously this is a sign of the times, is my dad knew a lot of Star Wars stuff back then, but there's come to light through people talking on forums and internet now, which we didn't have back then. There's even more variants that he didn't know existed, and variants in type of weaponry and stuff like that. Yeah, so basically I grew up through that, and I had my own little collections myself, and I come to really enjoy Star Wars. Yeah, and that sort of got me into collecting it again in my early 20s. Started by getting a few figures for Christmas and birthdays off my dad. I would just add 2 or 3 a time, and I slowly built up. And once I got quite a few, I got this cabinet, which is obviously rammed full now. Now there's a full 96 run. Yeah, the Empire and the Rebellion haven't got the message about the social distancing, obviously. Yeah, so I'm looking for a new cabinet, and I've identified where I'm going to get one from. It's Lidl, the supermarket, but obviously with the times at the moment, I'm just waiting for them to stock it, and I don't think they stock it too often, maybe twice a year or something. So yeah, as a collection, it's superb to look at. I mean, I've only got 2 collections throughout my Tech and Toys, which is obviously the name of my channel, isn't it? I've got a full set of vintage Star Wars figures, and I've got a full set of N64 games, and those are my 2 main passions, I think. I've obviously got a lot of other toys, but I'm not going for any kind of full sets in those. Yeah, I've got the full 96, as I've mentioned, and I've also got a few variants. This figure, Blue Snaggletooth, is quite a sought after one. It was only released for a short amount of time at the start of like 1970, end of 77, 78, in a Sears special offer Cantina playset in North America. And the Kenner at the time was struggling with the character design, because they'd only been given a black and white photo of him from the waist up, so they had to sort of guess, and obviously they guessed wrong, so he was changed later on and released as a red Snaggletooth. Yeah. If you're wondering what my favourite figure is, well, my favourite film was Return of the Jedi, and the figure is actually from that film as well. And my favourite figure is the Biker Scout. I just really love the design of this, and I think it's a really cool character in the film as well. I love the gun, I love the speeder bikes. Yeah, really nice. I know Boba Fett's a popular one as well, and I do like Boba Fett, but Biker Scout pips it for me. So what I'm going to do is, once I've stopped talking, I'm going to flip you around and just give you a quick overview of the set. I haven't I'm not going to go into too much detail about each figure and whatnot, but you'll be able to see what I have. Some may need upgrading in the future, which I've got in bundles and stuff like that. But a lot of the last 17 are really good condition, apart from the fact I need a couple of weapons. I need an Amanaman staff, and I also need an R2-D2 pop-up lightsaber. They aren't cheap weapons to get, but I think it'll be worth it in the long run. Everything's just going up and up and up at the moment, so yeah, I'll have to add them sooner rather than later. It's just a case of making sure what you're buying isn't fake. So I hope you've enjoyed my little history about myself with Star Wars, and I'll swap you around on the camera now, and I'll give you a good overview of the figures. Thanks for watching. So here we go, YouTube. That's my full 96 vintage Star Wars figures collection. That is the full collection of figures you can get. I won't talk too much. I'll let the figures do their own talking. So yeah, what I'll do is I'll open the cabinet so you won't have too much glare. They've been put in the order they sort of got released out to the general public. I'll switch the glass for you in a second and go back over them again. Let me know which figure was your favourite figure. I always love talking about vintage Star Wars. I honestly don't think there's another toy run that can match Star Wars figures in terms of how they look, how iconic they are. I mean, the reach that they've had on a global scale. I mean, they sold in the millions, didn't they? Absolutely unbelievable. I always wonder, because I was too young when they came out, what it would have been like walking into a shop and seeing these figures on display. I would have absolutely loved it. And they were actually quite, like a quid, £1.50-ish. I know on the stickers on some of the carded figures, it says the price. I mean, you can imagine them being discounted to like pence. Absolutely amazing. Yeah. So as I say, all these have original weapons apart from the two that I mentioned in the video, but hope to rectify that soon, even if it means just buying the figures again and taking the weapons off. So that's your last 17 there, absolutely crammed in. I ran out of space on the cabinet. Yeah, R2-D2's behind there, you can see him, his dome somewhere. Hiding behind the gunner. I won't do it because there's going to be a domino effect where I knock them all over, you watch. See if you can see him somewhere. There he is. So, I don't know, they're not a figure that have great articulation or anything, but I think it's the realism of the figures themselves that really stands out for me, and it just endears them to you. I love it, absolutely love it. And I've got all my other toy ranges as well that I had as a kid. There's just something about a full set of vintage Star Wars figures that really appeals to me. There you go, I'll close this one. That's it. Another quick overview before I stop the video. There you go. Any questions, please feel free to ask. I've often thought about going for some of the, like a lot of the variants, but it's a bit of a rabbit hole once you do that. It's very addictive as well. There's a superb community out there who collect Star Wars figures. Yeah, so any questions, please feel free to ask, and please share your memories of this brilliant toy range And as ever, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.